would like to begin from, I would say communication.
Okay.
As simple as communication sounds, that's the core of everything. Whether you're a graphics designer, you are a video editor, you are a cinematographer, whatever, you want to communicate something that you want your audience to resonate with, right? So if you cannot master effective communication, you have not, no matter the background you're removing, the colors you're changing, you haven't started. You need to be able to communicate in such a way that your audience understand what you're trying to say. And we all know that effective communication only happens when the receiver understands what what the sender has said, right? So
This is Christiana, right? I don't know. This is supposed to be a podcast, but I don't know how it feels to start reading her bio, all right? But she's been there, done that. She's part of the female in the creative space that have also successfully blended into the corporate life. If we begin to start reading out, the things she has done, it's a lot. You can actually go right now and follow her. I believe that after this podcast, there's going to be a lot she's going to be sharing and she's going to be posting. She's going to be saying a lot. We're going to be asking a lot of questions. And Christiana, you look good, though.
Thank you.
You look really good. And, I didn't know you were going to wear black, right? So we're actually wearing matching outfits. Yes, So, Christiana, you can tell us a bit more about yourself and what you do, and then we can, take it off from there.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good
I think
morning.
it's still morning, right? My name is Christiana Edanya Ogaba. So happen to be abbreviation who happen to be CEO for those that are not aware. So future CEO loading, that kind of thing. So I am a digital communications expert. I'm also a brand manager. Into design, communications, both visuals, both speaking, text-wise. Basically, that's it. Basically, Sha. That's it basically. I've been privileged to work from the tech space to the startup incubation phase, and now having to be working in the finance space. So, I think it's brand management and digital comms it's the same, but in different industries it could vary slightly, and it comes with its own perks, it comes with its own stress and all of that. So that's it basically.
Before we continue, I think you can play a YouTube video and reduce the volume so your screen stays on. Play YouTube video on your connect to my Wi-Fi. So you guys are going to bear with us because this is live. We're recording, so it's not just streaming. We're recording because we're going to have this go live later in the year. So that's fine. So thank you very much, Christiana. I think you touched on a lot of things that you're already doing. Are we rolling?
Yes.
So we talked on a lot of things you're already doing. Quickly. So what does it feel like to be a woman in the space, like in the tech creative space? What does it feel like?
Okay, well, I wouldn't say there is a certain kind of treatment you get in particular, but the thing is, I feel like being a woman, right, in a space that usually or normally is usually male dominated. Not a lot of ladies are, if not for now, that is a lot of movement for ladies to go into tech and all of that. There is kind of I won't say they are judging you, but they are thinking that you are not able to, deliver on a certain level, on a certain scale. When tasks are assigned, there's always like, she'll be able to do it kind of vibe. And then you go out of your way, and then I would say you shock people. And then they're like, okay, you're really good at what you do. I think I would like to collaborate with you. I think I would like to, do stuff with you because of you've shown that, okay, you've shown competence, you've shown capacity, you've shown that, okay, I can deliver, So, yeah, that's just the only, thing that I think comes with it. There's this first impression of we should be able to do it. We should not be. Hope she's not the one that just here just because of I want to feel among and kind of blend in. But when your work shows, when you deliver a job or you carry out your task excellently well, there's just respect that comes with it. You tend to earn your respect from there, unlike a guy that comes and said, okay, I do this, and people are like, okay, cool, let me just see your work, that kind of thing.
Yeah, now, but there's a part of that we need to actually look at.
Okay.
When a woman is managing men.
I think that part of it, right? If I would like to go back a bit, right from my university days, I've always been in teams where I've had to manage guys, and they don't take it lightly. When you are trying to be assertive as a lady, it's seen as aggression. She's nagging, she's this, she's that. Meanwhile, if it was from a guy, you would get a different response. It's almost as if, he's just in control, he knows what he's doing. But as a lady, sometimes when you are assertive, it's as if it's aggression, it's perceived as aggression. So sometimes the only way to kind of balance it is to let them know that, okay, I know what I'm doing and I am in control of this team. And for you to be in my team, because I want high flyers on my team, you have to be able to listen to what I say. You show capacity. You show them that, okay, you know what you're doing and you have a strategy on how this team can achieve whatever goal that it has. Eventually they fall in line. They tend to believe you that, okay, she actually knows what she's doing. But at the initial stage, it's a pushback. Okay, why is this thing like this? And they're like, no, why will you be telling me? There's just this, But when you are assertive enough and you keep showing them that you know what you're doing and you have a strategy that can actually work, eventually they come around. But it's not easy.
I think that a lot of guys here, you ask questions, right? and I'm going to ask questions to them, right?
All right.
To things like, I'll still come there. Do they really like working when a woman is in power? Because there's just been that conversation here and there, when a woman is in power and all of that. No, but we'll still come back to that. Trust me, we're going to come back to that.
Okay.
So now, how do we, we began I began talking about freelance culture. COVID started and we started having, most Gen Zs started working during COVID.
Yeah.
So when it was time to go back to the office, they're like, what's going on? Like, they get tired, they get burnt out just easily, and we term it that they are being expressive, but true, you get strength. You are not just, you didn't start with it. It's not what you started with. So now we need to know what is the difference between the beginning, like freelance culture, and work culture. Like what do you think is different? Yes, and how do we even let's begin with what's the difference between these two things.
Okay, I would say I think it can be categorized in different stages, right?
Okay.
But I would say one of the core differences is, freelance, you have this autonomy. You're on your own boss, in as much as you go out, you look for clients, you put in that effort, and everything. You give them a timeline, okay, that I'll be able to deliver this job at this time. Traditional workspace is not like that. Okay. They're throwing tasks on your desk and they're giving you very tight deadlines that eventually, if you're able to meet up with these deadlines, you become a better person. There's this saying that you go where the pressure is high. Yes, you have to be valued as well, but go where the pressure is high. It just makes you a high performer eventually. Where people are taking 10 hours to do something, you could do excellently well in like maybe 4 hours, right? Because you have been subjected to that, so there's that autonomy aspect of it. And then I think there's the accountability part. You reporting to somebody, you knowing how to submit to authority. There's especially being in the creative space where, your manager can come and tell you, you are the expert now. You've done something and you think, wow, this is beautiful. I've blown their mind, and then they're like, no, we don't like this. We think this can be this. But you're the expert and you're seeing it from a different light, That humility of being able to take that feedback regardless of whatever, you think, and then effecting that change. Because to what they want, is also there. You're a freelancer, you can always, push back to the client and be like, oh no, this is this, try to convince the client. In the workspace, it's not necessarily like that. Whatever your shareholders want is what you give them, regardless of whether it's what you think is right or, you just do what needs to be done, right? The highest thing you can do is, communicate that, okay, please be advised that I would have, preferred that this would go in this way to give this results, but since there's an instruction that has to be done this way, you carry it out.
This is interesting. So you believe that somebody in a workspace is a bit more structured than somebody in a freelance, like that's doing freelance?
Very. Yes, it takes a freelancer that is extremely driven, that is disciplined, to be able to attain that level of structure. In the traditional workspace, you can't just barge into let's say your boss's boss office and go and, there's a way things have to be done. If you are even sending tasks, you copy this person has to be checking up on you. Mm-hmm. That communication is constantly there. You're giving feedback, they're giving you feedback, Unlike, some freelancers where they even take jobs from their clients. And then the client is the one chasing after them, struggling. Please, you said you would do this thing in 2 weeks. The client is running after you. It cannot happen in the traditional space. You would have gotten emails flying here and there. Queries would have been going up and down because, there is a timeline attached to this thing, right? So that's like the difference.
So now, this is the same question, right? But I want you to put it out there,
okay?
Right? Now, I'm not saying that everybody should go get a job, all right?
Yeah.
But I personally know that if you work in a structure,
yes,
it helps you as a person. Now, I'm not saying go get a job. Now, it might necessarily not be in a work environment, exactly. But somehow there's something it does to your head that even when you decide to go freelance, I don't think people should go freelance first.
Exactly.
I think freelance should be last.
Mm-hmm. They should experience the structured workspace.
And take note of this, like you guys are going to ask questions. We're going to argue this because I know people say, no, freelance, like you have your time 9 to 5, you work anytime you want. You can work from the beach. Yes, exactly. You can work from the village. You can even travel, and do your stuff the way you want.
Yeah, true.
But, looking at it very well, the people that have been in the corporate space, in a workspace, will tell you that. Because even now, right, I won't say I'm freelancing, I'm also working in this space. Now, I'm able to freelance at the same time, manage 3 jobs, because proper structure, and then I'm able to still deliver in time because of my experience in the workspace. Yeah. So I really think it might be weird for some people, but I think is something. It might just like learning how to use left hand at old age. But if you can find the structure, it's something that might reward you. I'm not guaranteeing you that it's going to reward you. That might reward you. Yes, all right. So now this is about career development, skill development. Do you think people get into? Okay, where do we even start developing skill in the first place? How is skill developed? Where do people start developing skills in the first place? Because a lot of people get to the workspace and realize they are not as skilled as they thought they were. Yes.
We experience.
So you see people submitting CVs where their CVs are not civilized.
It is not.
It's just like saying a lot from download from ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT tells you everything. Then when you now get there, I've been in interview panels where we are asking the lady, okay, tell us more about yourself. Immediately she started, I knew that this thing was ChatGPT. It was like with the multifaceted cross-function. I said, hey!
Too much.
Madam, where are you reading this thing from? Yeah. The interview ended without we asking her the questions for the interview. Wow. We're trying to get, who are you? I rephrase the question again. In one word, tell us who you are. She said, I am skilled, hardworking. Started reading that part that said the skills, whatever. So, what kind of skills do you want people to like start going out for before actually considering working in a space, in a corporate space or a tech space, even whether it's remote or it's because we go about learning YouTube tutorials, how to remove background, how to color, how to change the sky from blue to red, without really going in depth to realize that okay, our work goes beyond changing backgrounds, all right, and editing videos that can fly, stuff like that, right? Just let's look at the whole skill development aspect.
Where I would like to begin from, I would say communication.
Okay.
As simple as communication sounds, that's the core of everything. Whether you're a graphics designer, you're a video editor, you are a cinematographer, whatever, you want to communicate something that you want your audience to resonate with, right? So if you cannot master effective communication, you have not, no matter the background you're removing, the colors you're changing, you haven't started. You need to be able to communicate in such a way that your audience understand what you're trying to say. And we all know that effective communication only happens when the receiver understands what the what the sender, has said, right? So communication is key. Sometimes we see people come in, because I've done a couple of interviews where we are looking for like social media managers and then they come in, and then communication is one of the things that they struggle a lot with, right? Your task is given to you, and you have challenges, understanding what it is, or even instead of you communicating back to your line manager that, okay, please, I'll need guidance, you just go mute, and then we are expecting feedback, we're expecting something from you, and we get nothing, no communication, nothing. And it's still applicable even if you're a freelancer, because that's your client having to chase you up and down. It's because you don't have that communication skill. There is nothing wrong in saying, okay, I'll deliver this job in a week, and it gets to a week, you're not done, and you communicate to the client saying, okay, due to so and so reason, I won't be able to, send in your task today. Can you kindly give me extra, that kind of thing. And then some people just go quiet, and then you're chasing them. And that is not, and then in the traditional workspace, I would say, being able to use, the Microsoft Office and all of that, crafting a proper email. A lot of people cannot craft a proper email. I think I had to pause because it's shocking.
Yeah, you need to pause because
yes.
There's a lot of
right?
people even
it's shocking, right? That you come in,
because me, when I even went to proper, I didn't know how to craft. Like, I no go lie, I had to go and learn how to write an email. Yes. And a lot of people don't even know how to write an email. I mean, I don't know if anybody is watching us. You shall go learn how to write.
Very important.
Continue.
Very important. So that communication is where you need to start from. Being able to. And another thing that, the traditional workspace will give you, that you're freelance, is being able to relate with people. That people skills is very, very important, because whether we like it or not, in top management, in top leadership position, it's not your technical skills that really count. It's how you're able to manage people, how you're able to relate with people. If you are heading a team, how are you able to bring those 3, 4, 5 persons together to achieve that goal? It's not whether you know how to hold the mouse and eventually you won't be doing those in-depths, you would be managing people and being able to relate with them, communicate with them in such a way that, work can flow, things can go on, So I feel like communication is just like the center of everything. Eventually, it's still like the center of it all.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Like talking about like those skills, communication skills, very important. And especially the part where you mentioned about email writing. This is so important. So if you don't know this right now, and you think that everything is on WhatsApp chat, because a lot of creatives I've worked with, they want to resign, they'll send you a WhatsApp message.
Of course.
They tell you, I'm resigning.
Bye,
due to
sir.
no, say, thank you for being so amazing. I need to move on to my career.
Yeah.
So I think it's professional.
Exactly.
It's called professional English.
Exactly.
And communication. So there's a way professionals talk. So if you want to be a professional and you want your client to perceive you as professional, most of them are working, most of them already understand the structure. And when we talk of valuing creatives, I think this is why most times they are not valued.
Yeah.
Right? Because part of the things that, that makes for good leadership is able to communicate.
Yes.
Now, and people think that you only lead the people under you, not knowing that people above you also, you can also lead them.
Yes.
And you can only lead them if you understand how to speak to them, how to communicate to them.
Exactly.
Because very soon we'll start talking about stakeholders, right? Who are stakeholders? And how do we talk to stakeholders? Who are they and how do we talk to them, right? So now we've talked about leading the people behind you, right? Let's talk about leading the people above you, right?
Very tricky one.
Because it's very it's very difficult. Like we come and we talk about how easy to tell somebody to do something is not something. What of the people that are telling you to do what is not possible?
Yes.
Right? Are telling you to put like 15 phone numbers on a billboard, right? And put 11 people there. And write the company's email address, 7 of them, and then the billboard looks like newspaper. All right, so we need to know how, they'll tell you, okay, post by 2 a.m. in the midnight. That is when people are online.
Yeah.
Post by 5 p.m.
Yeah.
They tell you, oh, these colors are not good, these pictures are not right. But as a creative, that this is not right. right? Now you need to lead them.
Exactly.
You need to make them listen to you.
Exactly.
Now, how do we make these stakeholders, how do we make these people even listen in the first place?
Okay. Well, it's not an easy task. I think there's a term for it. Managing up. Right? Managing the upper.
Oh, there's something like that.
Yeah, there's something like that. Managing up, right? Honestly, it's not something that I would say is very easy, because there are times where there are tasks that are assigned to you and it looks impossible. And, you're trying to understand, how, like you said, how do you want me to fit in all these things here? And you, as the creative, you know that it is not right. It's not like it's not possible, but it won't look good. If we speak to the aspect of design, what I usually do, when it's assigned to me, I don't start to, initially I used to argue. I said, no, this thing cannot be done. How can we do it like this? But they see you as someone that doesn't listen. They see you as someone that pushes back, someone that is, stubborn. That's the word. They just see you as someone that is too, and they start perceiving you as you not being able to even lift that role you are to a higher role. So the best way to actually, in terms of design now, to work with them is whatever you are asked to do it. Do it alongside, attach how you think it should be done.
Okay.
When it has to do with visuals, when you place a good design beside a very, it will speak for itself. And they'll be like, this other one actually looks good. Exactly what I was trying to say, but because they've not seen it actually done, they can't really visualize what you're trying to say. So I think the way I personally have been able to, work in terms of that is doing what they ask you to do. Yes, you would express your concerns. I think this can be done in this way, or I think this can be done in that way. Leave it there. Don't enforce. Don't say, no, I'm the expert. It has to be done this way. Sir, maybe you brought me in because I have expertise. Let me do my work. You're shooting yourself in the leg.
Yeah, there are people that yes. I just tell them my mind.
Yeah, let me just say my mind. Let me just say it. No, you must know that. No. You have to apply wisdom, because whether you like it or not, these are the people that brought you in. Yes, they trust your capacity, but they always want to give that their own stake in it. So do what you are asked to do, and alongside attach how you think it should be. See, when they place it side by, even they would say, okay, this this looks really good, and this this is better on their own. You wouldn't even need to say much or do much. So that's just
because I believe nobody wants to be pushed back.
Yeah, nobody wants
right
to,
because they are oga, you want to tell them your mind, express your opinion in such a manner that let them know that you have a voice. Do you understand? Like you have,
know that you know what you're doing.
That I know what you're doing. I think everything boils down in communication, how to be able to.
Exactly.
I won't call it manipulate. I'll call it charm. Right? How you're able to use your, framing, nice words framing, to say what sometimes they might be right. Most of the time, sometimes they might be right if they tell you to do based on their experiences and some regulations.
Yeah, very important regulations.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes some of the instructions we get can be right, but based on some regulations, based on some things that they've already experienced in the past, they might be right. But like you said, do not push back. Try to let's do what they said, right? And then we can now find a way to balance things out. Yeah. So before we end this particular segment, let's get back to this. So how do you think, what do you advise for women, in the workspace? How do you think, especially women that are, I wasn't so impressed over the last 28 days because we were trying to enroll some ladies for some UI role. Yeah. So about 6 to 7 ladies amongst a lot of guys, and a lady came close to acing that particular but it happened that I don't know, like women beyond them hearing us talk, beyond them getting inspired online, and rushing to go and write CV and to go and take the next course. How do you think they are going to break this barrier? Because I believe that most of them don't even believe that they can do what they say they can do. Yeah, it's a
confidence issue. Yeah, it starts from there.
Yeah, so how do you think they can begin to break these barriers? Because, I mean, they are not in position of power yet. And we can't even get them in the system. Now, when they now enter position of power with this kind of behavior, how do we we have to be honest.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we have to be. So how do we do it? How do we do it that our ladies, I know a lot of ladies are doing very,
Very well.
great out there. I saw
Exactly.
this lady, what's her name? Pink director or something? She's into movies, cinematography.
Yeah, I think I've seen
Director
it. Yeah,
Pink,
yeah.
right? I'm amazed. I'm blown away by
I
what
mean,
that lady is doing.
you
And
know,
we have the likes of Mabudu, we have
Yeah.
Abolanle, we have all these ladies, right? That
Yeah.
are, I don't know what brought them there, is beyond skill, because
definitely.
they are managing boys, men, right? They are, they are employers of labor. They
Yeah.
found a way to make this thing work. So how do you think that ladies, women out there are going to be, doing this or managing this, breaking the barriers?
Okay, I think because women are raised in certain ways, it all boils down to our background, right? Some women are raised in certain ways, if you can't say what you don't like, even when you're not comfortable. You have to, act in certain way. You have to, always act right, say things in certain ways. So women, sometimes when things don't even look right, you don't speak up. You don't, So I feel like that has been ingested so much in their system that when they now come to the workspace where you have to blow your trumpet, you have to show that you have capacity to do whatever role will be assigned to you. Nobody's going to be saying no, except you have a mentor, of course, that is, seeing a potential in you that you don't see in yourself. So you have to consciously unlearn some things. We have a lot of biases that we got from our parents and a lot of that. There are things that you need to unlearn. Let it go. Unlearn that, and build that self-confidence. It starts from building the confidence and knowing that I can do this. And I will not say you can fake it till you make it, because as much as fake it till you make it works, I feel like picturing who you would like to be in the next couple of days also gives you that, it gives you that push. I mean, you see other ladies that are out there doing amazing things, right? It can be you too. I mean, it can be me. I can do these things. So why do I have to play small? Why do I have to, just because, I've been raised in a certain way or someone said something? Give that confidence. When the questions are asked in meetings, give your contribution. Don't care whether someone will laugh or what someone is going to say. No, say, and then don't be, some people come to meetings and they're all, bending their head. That's not a good posture. You sit upright. People want to hear what you have to say. You look, you gesticulate. From your body language alone, that confidence is already coming out. And then they're like, okay, she knows what she's saying. She can actually give that. But even if you're saying something that is really, really, and then you're like this and you're saying it and you're looking down, nobody's going to trust what you're saying. So it starts from building that confidence, and then developing your communication skills.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I think I wanted to ask you that because some people will think that women that are upright, right, that are trying to push are rude. I know it's most of people's mind, right? They are thinking about it. That when a woman knows what she's saying, when a woman knows what she wants, she's rude.
Yeah.
How do we how do we I mean,
I understand what you're trying to say. I mean,
is it just me?
Where is the thin line between being rude or aggressive and then being assertive?
Exactly. Do you understand?
Yes.
I mean, guys don't like a guy if they shout now. Do this, do that,
and it's fine.
And it's okay.
What is a lady?
When a woman begins,
she's nagging.
They give me headache. So where do we like? Because I mean, guys, I'm going to ask you guys questions. Do you understand? How do you guys feel about women? We have to be honest.
Yes.
Do you understand the point now? So we'll start learning, because change begins with sensitization.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. We know, and then we start doing. And then that makes for what do you call it, sustainable transformation.
Exactly.
So like, how do we now draw that line, and how should men behave? Because the lens you are wearing is not the lens most of us are wearing. So
I agree.
When a woman is showing that she's gonna do it, put things in order, how should a man really react? Like, right? Because it irritates me really when a man is having a face-off with a woman in the public.
Okay.
In the works, be like very open conversation.
Yeah.
So, like, how should a man actually look at it? How should a man actually react? Maybe most of us are resigned because of women in power. We'll go and get back our jobs.
All right. So I think how you see it, right? If you remove the gender and look at the position, I think it's going to be easier for you.
Okay.
I'm speaking from the position of the man now. Now, if you're looking at, okay, she's asking me to do this, this, don't look at the person. Look at the role that she represents. If not for anything, remove the person. The way they always say, like, the role is different, the individual, is different. Look at the role. the role the person is playing, because being able to lead is something that is not easy. It's difficult. And the woman may even be handling it better than a guy would have. But because she's a woman and maybe once in a while she snaps and, you know, wants to say her mind in such a way that, you know, may not really appeal to the men on the team, is always captured as, you know, aggression and all of that, you know. So look beyond who you're seeing and look at the role and look at the goal as well. You know, I'll always say that a team is like 5 fingers with one mind. You guys have a goal that you want to achieve. So once you're getting feedback in such a way that it looks like it's a person's attack on you or on your character, take that away and look at the reason behind that. Look at the role the person is playing at that moment. Okay, this person is my manager and this person wants us to achieve this goal. Take away that, oh, she's a woman, the way she said it, the way, just take all those things out, because it will help you be a better person and you will learn. And for the women, I'll always say we have this will I say need for us to over explain things. You know, it's almost as if because you know that some men are not really comfortable with the way, you know, you always want to be, okay, we are going to do this because of this, we are trying to, you know, no, okay, this team, we have planned that we want to achieve this, we are going to go here, these are the metrics that we need to achieve to get us here. Not too much explaining, not too much beating around the bush, not too much. No, say what you have to say and move. A man will not come and be, you know, holding hands, or he will just say, he would be bold about it and he will say it and go. So say what you have to say and go. And then on in the men's part, just look at the role the person is playing. Remove the gender away from there. You know, there are times where they will say the lady is nagging, the way she said it, she is shouting. I feel like it's because you're seeing the person. If it was a man standing there, you won't think he's nagging. You won't think he's yelling or anything like that. You will see that, okay, he's in charge and he's trying to, you know, communicate something in such a way that it will give you people that, you know, vibe. It will give you that push that you need to get to achieve your goal. You won't picture it as aggression, you know. So that's just what I think. The women, you know, try, be assertive, state your point and let it go, so that you don't start having back and forth conversations with your team member or things like that, you know. Just state it as it is. This is what we want to do. This is what, okay, you can leave the floor open, you know, for feedback. How do you think we can achieve this? But not too much reason, not too much, how do I say it? Over explaining things. Yeah, that's what I would say, over explaining things.
All right. Thank you very much for this.